Portland Pilots are the 2016 West Coast Conference champions.
Sharp! In another dimension!
And it's gone! A walk-off two-run home run by Tate Budnick, and the Pilots win it!
The Portland Pilots win their first national championship in overtime!
Welcome back to the Portside Pod. I am Chris Clements, and I'm joined by Henry Cheney. We know sometimes you can't be here, but today you are, because you are an athlete and you are a student.
Student first, Chris, but thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Today we'll be talking with Amy Dame Smith, and she'll talk all about being a student first. And then we've been gone for a while with the holiday season, so we're up here above Merlot Field in our podcast studio. So, Henry, what is the down low from Merlot?
The hottest team on campus right now, which could be women's basketball. And they're on a 5-game win streak right now with 2 big games coming up this weekend in Chiles Center. The first one against BYU and then the second one against San Diego. And just a lot of exciting stuff going on. And they're battling right now. They're in 3rd place in the WCC, and BYU's in 2nd. So it's going to be a great matchup. And because of that success, they actually have the top 2 scorers in the WCC, Chris, with Alex Fowler in the lead and Haley Andrews right behind her. So they got a little contest going.
That's some firepower there. Yeah. I love that. There is a docu-series on YouTube called A New Beginning that we would love everyone to check out. It's pretty cool. Kind of the new era of Portland women's basketball. Just a kind of behind-the-scenes look, so just go check it out whenever you get a chance. On the men's basketball side, this weekend is the 5th annual Brewfest with UP alumni, owner of the West Coast Grocery and Backwoods Brewing. We got a doubleheader with men's and women's basketball. Women's is San Diego, men Santa Clara.
Yeah, it should be a great weekend for all basketball fans to come to the Chiles Center and have a good time. And then moving on, just talking about baseball a little bit.
Yeah, baseball just started spring practices. What's that been like so far? What's the atmosphere like?
It's been good. Yeah, the construction definitely adds a little adversity to it. But as Loomis always says, adversity shows character. It's been a little wet, but nothing we're not used to, for sure. So
yeah, I could never even – I tried throwing a baseball in the rain a couple times. They used to make me practice in the rain because I'm not used to it.
I remember you'd be the only one that'd throw your bullpen outside, and then all the other Northwest guys would get to throw it inside.
Crazy. And where are the games going to be played this season? Do we know yet? Or is it kind of we're just waiting to see how the stadium ends up?
Yeah, we're all over the place a little bit. We get to play in Ridgefield, which is right near Vancouver, Washington. And then we actually head down to Oregon State for a series as our home. And then we head to Hillsborough Stadium at Tonkin Stadium. And then we get to play 1 or 2 series here. So we're going to be moving around a lot, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully Pilot Nation can follow well with us as well.
Speaking of new stadiums, / surfaces / whatever you want to call it, Indoor Track had their first meet on the new surface this weekend. It went really well, and we got 3 of those this season. So it's going to be exciting time for Portland athletics. A lot of first time since the 1990s. I wasn't even born until 96, so
Jeez.
It's been a while since there's been an indoor track in there.
Dating yourself there, Chris.
No, I know I'm a little bit old here, but I'm still a student, so it's all that matters.
That's true.
Lastly, on men's tennis, it started off the season 2-0. We've beat crosstown rival Portland State. That's always a good feeling.
You gotta love it.
And you just love that. And then women's tennis started off 1-1. But we were, you could go 19-1. I don't know how many matches they have, but
yeah, they always say it's not how you start, it's how you finish.
Yeah, that is true.
A long season to go.
Yeah, no, you could go undefeated. Tomorrow you're 0-0 right now.
Yeah.
You got to get next time 1-0.
True. Treat each day like a new game, obviously.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Today we have Amy Dame Smith, the Assistant Director of Academics and Student Athlete Development. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Fantastic. Really nice outside. It's been raining for about 6 days straight, so we're just getting used to it here. I'm from California, so it's not my favorite thing in the world, but I'll live with it.
You gotta love it.
So you actually earned your bachelor's in secondary education from here?
I did.
Yeah?
Yep.
That's awesome. And you played tennis here as well?
I did. I played for Susie Campbell.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Love it. And then you went on to George Fox after that?
Yeah, I had a short stint at
Okay.
George Fox, working towards a master's degree in counseling, put
Okay.
it on hold, and then got into college athletics soon after that.
And you went into coaching at
Yep.
Linfield?
Yeah, I coached the women's tennis team at Linfield for 10 years. And in conjunction with that was also NCAA compliance officer and later senior woman administrator.
That's awesome. That's really cool. So what was your kind of decision to come here? I don't know if did you come here straight from Linfield as a coach, or?
No, I coached at Linfield for 10 years and then got into athletics administration full time through a position at Concordia University, where I was an associate athletic director for compliance and academics and SWA. And then I had a return to Linfield for 2 years as an athletics administrator, but always had it as a goal to make it back to UP. Absolutely love my time here as a student athlete, and just kind of saw this as my destination.
And what was kind of the decision making behind stepping away from coaching into the administrative role? Was that hard for you to move on from coaching?
That's a great question. Like I said, I did it for 10 years, and about 7 years into that 10-year run, had my daughter, and just kind of realized that it took a lot to juggle everything with travel and recruiting and whatnot. And while I love that connection that coaching brings to the student athlete, was also really enjoying my work with NCAA compliance, as weird as that sounds. And I think, becoming SWA at Linfield at the same time I was coaching opened my eyes to athletic administration and just kind of that world, and really enjoyed my time working, being able to devote more time to athletics administration. So it just kind of became a clearer path for me to move into about 7 years into coaching.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, coaching is a tough lifestyle, especially when you got a family to take care of. I know that a lot of coaches, they don't get to spend as much time with their family as they want to. So, it's completely understandable. And then you still get to work on the academic side of it and help these student athletes. Because in reality, something that I've always been interested in is like the big schools is, the eligibility seems like it's more important than setting up athletes to succeed in life. Because maybe the percentage of those athletes that are going to go pro is a little bit higher than somewhere like here. So kind of what's that like? What part of it is you're trying to keep athletes eligible, correct? And then the other side of it is helping the ones that don't go pro in something, which is going to be the majority of the athletes, kind of succeed in their everything life, doing professional something else other than sports. So what's that like for you, kind of working with athletes?
Well, like I said, when I was coaching, that was one of my favorite things, was having that close touch on student athletes, being able to feel like you're making a positive impact in their lives. And through the work that I do here at UP, it's really similar, where I get a lot of interaction with student athletes, and I absolutely love that. And my sort of framework that I operate in is student athlete, student first. And that's really, everyone's here for the love of their sport, to see how good they can be in their sport and see where it takes them. But at the end of the day, if you're not staying eligible and working towards that degree, that becomes sort of more of a secondary thing.
In your role with the park, I know that you work with several teams. What are some of the teams that you specifically work with?
So right now I'm working with baseball.
Thankfully.
Yep. Women's soccer, and also women's cross country and track and field.
Okay. And Kirsten and I were joking earlier that I know you just got here last semester, but it was pretty funny to us that in your first kind of semester, the baseball team ironically had the highest men's GPA on all of the athletics, and we just credit that to you.
Oh man, hey, I take no credit.
No, yeah, it was awesome to have you join our team for
team
sure.
effort.
Yeah.
Team effort.
I love it. I wish I was a part of that. Not anymore though.
Yeah, went up when you let. No,
whoa.
Just kidding.
I was a good student. How does your background Do you think that your background as a coach kind of helps you bridge, and as an athlete, bridge that gap between the coaches and athlete? Kind of like I need this player eligible, but I also want them to do well.
Yeah, I think that it has served me well as I've transitioned into this role, sort of having a 360 view, having been a student athlete myself, understanding just the time demands, how, especially when you're in season, every minute is almost accounted for in terms of attending class, studying, going to practice, getting treatment, ice afterwards, like just everything. You got to eat, you got to sleep. And then also as a coach, just really understanding the pressures that coaches are facing and, the amount of attention that it takes to be a coach, make sure you're serving with your student athletes and, getting the best out of them, but also, continuing to move your program forward. So that perspective has really helped.
I think especially from a student athlete perspective, knowing that someone is on your side who's been through it is like extremely humbling, because that obviously you've been here and you've been through it all. It's like you completely understand what we're going through, and it's nice to know that when coming in, meeting with you and stuff like that. So
yeah, no, that's
really
awesome.
Nice.
Well, and it's kind of funny when I do meet with you guys, I see some of the same professor names on your schedules.
Yeah, we were going to ask you.
I was going to ask, yeah.
That I had, yeah.
That is so funny.
That's crazy. Do they still remember you as a student, or?
I haven't connected with too many of them yet.
Okay.
But yeah, I've had some good kind of chuckles about, oh yeah, so-and-so.
Yeah, we should do one of those like undercover, those videos where people, like athletes go undercover and they're like just in regular places. We should have you do that with some of your professors and see if they're like, oh my God, like, that's crazy. Yeah, so something else I'm kind of interested in is like, as a coach, is there always that kind of struggle to let athletes take on their school side of it, or is it like, instead of like, oh, I really want them to go practice right now, like you're sometimes, because I know Coach Loomis with baseball, he was always super understanding if we needed to go take a class at a certain hour, because he really just wanted us to succeed in life. So was that something that you had trouble with, or was that something you were very understanding with as a coach?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit different with where I was coaching at Linfield. It's a Division III school, and so there are sort of these restrictions in place by the NCAA that keep you from being able to be in season at all times throughout the year, whether it's that strength and conditioning segment. They don't have that. So it really was, like, academics was a huge emphasis. But at the same time, I always tried to bring sort of a D1 mindset to my program when I was coaching. And Susie Campbell was awesome about, just giving 100% to your sport. When you're there, it's 100%. And when you're in class, it's 100% there. And so that was sort of the framework that I operated in as a coach. So if, of course, I would always point out, like, the student athletes that were putting in the extra time outside of practice on their own, tennis being an individual sport, as sort of the ideal. But at the same time, like I said earlier at the beginning, you're here to get your degree. And so I was willing to do whatever it took to support my student athletes towards that goal.
Yeah, and you kind of talked about a little bit how the differences in compliance and rules between the different divisions. At Concordia, you actually were part of the transition from Division III to Division II, correct?
NAIA to D2.
NAIA, yeah.
Yep.
And what was that? What's that like? What's the difference for people that don't know?
Whew.
You can give a very very short answer to this.
All right, I'll try some bullet points here. So the main differences were the transition of athletic aid. That was pretty big, and just more parameters. There were, NAIA does have rules. Some people are like, oh, NAIA doesn't have rules. It's the Wild West. Yeah.
Junior college.
Yeah. They did have rules, or they do have rules. So you were trying, it was just a different culture in the NAIA versus NCAA. So it was just a big step up in terms of timing, like having recruiting calendars that you had to follow, learning to transition to NLI signing dates and what that did to a coach's sort of patterns in recruiting and the calendars they were following. So it was definitely a super valuable experience in terms of building something from the ground up. And it was an adventure, definitely. But, thankfully that department, like all the coaches were all in. And so can't say enough good things about that.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was that loaded of a question.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to be detailed, but yeah, I'm sure that wasn't the easiest of questions for you. Have you been watching the Australian Open, or is it too late at night for it to?
No, I have watched a few of the matches.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely was following Serena. Watched her last match a few days ago. Yeah.
Tough one. Did you watch the Coco Gauff, the 15-year-old sensation? She's unbelievable. She just beat Naomi Osaka in the straight sets, I want to say.
Yeah,
it was crazy. So. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But I don't know how you're that young and competing at that high of a level. Like, it's unreal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
so
doesn't
composed.
happen in any other sport.
No, I mean, basketball, you see guys going straight from high school, but they were, not anymore.
Yeah, but true, even
still.
they're 18, 19 still.
Yeah, it's crazy. So something we like to do here is just have a little bit of fun at the end. We know you got some other things to do, your job to do. So something we do is the kind of pre-draft interview. I don't know if you've heard, for the NFL draft, the interviewers always ask some really weird questions, and we just, they really just want to see kind of what mindset you're in, and then we're going to give you a grade to see what round you're going to go after. But so the first question we've asked everyone that's been on here, is what kind of fish are you?
Oh my gosh, what kind of fish am I?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I'm going to be super original and say salmon because I'm from the Northwest.
Perfect. I love it. Yeah, these aren't normal questions, so it's okay to. Our second one would be, what color is chocolate?
Brown.
Brown?
Yeah, that's what I would say. Unless it's white chocolate.
Yeah, unless it's white chocolate or dark. Yeah.
Dark chocolate. I don't know what it's called. All right. So you're speeding down a mountain at very high speed on a bus. Where are you sitting?
In the middle.
Okay.
In the middle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like kind of a leader, kind of not,
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's weird because I'm a middle child. So.
No, there you go.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we don't
We're
know.
getting deep here.
We don't really know where these questions, like how they even come up. These are real questions that got asked. So
Or
we're
what the right answer really is.
Yeah.
It's just, I guess.
It's really just to rattle people, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, are you going to watch the Super Bowl this weekend?
Yeah,
Okay.
I am.
And who you got? You got Chiefs or 49ers?
Got to go with the Niners.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's
My
go.
dad played for them, so it's
Oh, wow.
yeah,
No way.
a little bit
All
of
right.
a connection
Wish I would
there.
have known that
so,
one. I'm a huge Niners fan, so.
That is so cool. What position did he play?
he was nose guard.
Nose guard.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. He's a big guy.
He was kind of the Rudy of, yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, way back in the
It's a
day.
great story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Rudy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That is awesome.
All right,
That's so
well,
cool.
wow, that just got really exciting. Yeah, I hope the Niners as well, because huge Niners fan. This guy's a Seahawks fan over here, so that's
Okay.
really
I am. So I really want the 49ers to lose. I don't really care who they're playing against.
Really, dude?
But yeah.
That's messed up. All right, what grade do you got for her?
The answers were pretty quick. The first one was a little slow, and then every answer had a good reasoning. I'll probably give you a 8.2, 8.3.
What round?
Late second round, maybe early third.
Wow, that is tough. That's tough. Yeah, no, I was thinking late first, mid to late first, but I mean, whatever, man. If you want to just
I'm a tougher grader.
and go Aaron Rodgers and just let her drop all the way down in the draft. That's tough. Well, we know you got things to do. We're so happy that you came on with us, and we love, just having you as a part of our program, just to bridge the gap between athletes and coaches. So thanks for coming on, and we're really happy that you came on with us.
Yeah, no, thanks so much for having me. It was fun talking with you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
So that's it for today, everybody. We really appreciate all of our listeners, and I will be signing out for the whole week ahead of preparation of the Super Bowl. Huge Niners fan, and I just cannot wait to see George Kittle laughing maniacally after he blocks somebody. Like, that's the best thing I've ever seen. Niners by 60. It's not even going to be a close game. That's all. You heard it here first, fellas.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I don't know about that one. I think Mahomes might be a little tough to stop, but
Yeah, whatever.
go Chiefs.
Yeah, that's a salty Seahawks fan, everybody. This is how it goes. You know, can't even root for the same conference or division. Just really tough.
Yeah, it's true. Even when all we needed was a half yard and we might be playing in this game.
Yep, well, that's a game of inches.
You can't win them all.
All righty. Have a good one, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. Get that going in the background.